stage, their times do affect the seeding. So, unless Hunter just wants to get the lowest seed, which, I think you can want to do that too.
Oh, and the run started.
Yep, the runners are off and away. So one thing to note about this game, which is different from Sunshine, is that while there are a large number of cutscenes, a good majority of them can be skipped here. So they're going to be mashing the plus button and then the A button to confirm, yes, I do indeed want to skip this cutscene. Thank you very much, game. Let me move on with my life.
This would be a horrible speed game if this cutscenes wasn't skippable.
Because there are way more cutscenes than in Sunshine here, but they are, most of them can be skipped.
Yeah, thankfully.
But here we are in the Cap Kingdom. Mario was trying to rescue Peach from Bowser, failed, and had his hat shredded by Bowser's ship propeller. So he's gonna befriend the little Cap ghost here named Cappy. And since he's a sentient living cap, the main mechanic of this game is that you can throw your cap and use it as a platform, use it to redirect in midair, and use it to capture enemy. There's a first bonk for Hunter already. Get the counter going.
That's an interesting backup strat as well, going on the side there.
Yeah, it can be a little risky because if you do bonk on the side before landing, then you just fall and die, and you just
then you're screwed.
Yeah.
Crono going clean into the giant cap.
Oh, there's another bonk. The bonk from Hunter. The reactionary pause to start the reset, but this is a race, so none of that here. But yeah, if you do bonk twice before getting the frog, that's normally a reset, because it's just, time waste.
Yeah. I'm wondering if somebody's actually accidentally reset in this race or in this tournament.
Oh, that'd be really unfortunate.
Just pure muscle memory.
But I mean, if there was one place to reset, I guess Cap Kingdom, you lose, a minute, 2 minutes, could be worse. I was in a race one time when I messed up the Mecha Brutal fight, and I was close to, just doing the reset. I had to stop myself, be like, no, you cannot reset 10 minutes before the end of the run. But here's a little boss fight here. Crono's gonna fast cycle it. Hunter is gonna also try to fast. There it is. You can step on his hat there, stop the hats from spinning around, and just get the nice, clean, fast cycle off. Very nice.
I think Hunter's gonna do a safe strat with Sphinx to keep the coins, since he skipped so many just right now.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
And then there's our white goose.
The memes continue. But yeah, so the Cap Kingdom is a little bit different from the rest of the kingdoms that we encounter throughout the run, in that you actually do not need to collect anything. You just get to the end, beat a boss. But for all the other kingdoms, Mario does not collect stars in this game, but rather moons. And you need a specific number of moons at each kingdom to move on to the next and progress the run. So here in the Cascade Kingdom, they're going to need 5 total moons.
Also in Cascade, until you actually beat the boss on top of the stage, a lot of moons won't be available, so routing options are really limited.
Mm-hmm. It is possible, though, to use a capture. We saw the runners capture the chain chomp there to bust open the wall for the first power moon. You can capture a dinosaur in this stage and jump over and away like 2/3 of the level or something crazy like that, and get up high off of a trampoline onto a cutscene trigger, trigger the boss, so you don't have to platform and maneuver through most of the level itself.
Even if the cutscene trigger wasn't in that location, you can still get on top of there and then move to where the cutscene trigger probably would have been.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
So it would have been a strat no matter what, but just a harder one.
Yeah, it gives you a bit more leeway. You don't have to get on top of the ledge. You can get a little bit below it, so a little less of a precise trick here, but you still need to land on this trampoline with Crono getting the jump. And he does not activate the trigger. He's a little too low. But Hunter
Hunter with the reset again.
It looked. I think he anticipated hitting the trigger there, and so paused.
Yeah.
That's the same button as skipping the cutscene. So both of them missing it the first time. There's Crono with the second time with that low wall cutscene trigger.
Hunter with the backup moon as well, to avoid having to climb the cliff afterwards.
Yeah, that's a clever little tactic there. But he's still trying to get this trampoline jump, because beating this boss does give you 3 moons at the same time. So you aside from routing options being limited, you do want the quick and easy 3 moons if you can get them.
Also, you can see Crono doing some advanced strat by jumping on top of the change-up as it's being thrown out.
Mm-hmm.
The Mama Brutal will always throw to the right of you, so you can just backflip onto it easily.
Hunter not trying to do the jump on top, but just waits for it to be thrown, and he's going to collect some coins here for later on in the route. So coins actually do matter in this game, or for this particular 80% route, I should say. In each kingdom, you can purchase a moon for 100 coins, and on this particular route, there are 2 instances at which you want to purchase a moon, and so 200 coins total are needed for those purchases. And then there's an optional death abuse strat. Dying loses you 10 coins. So the cost of this route typically is 210 total coins. They will come into effect later on. But here's Crono getting his 5th moon. And Hunter is not going to need that moon that Crono just collected, since he got one from the chain chomp down below. So going to be finishing up the Cascade Kingdom pretty close to each other, it looks like.
Looking like a maybe 15 seconds difference, 10.
Mm-hmm. At this point in the run, it's not too big a deficit to come back from, because there are so many points at which you can get you can miss a fast cycle on the ball, so just have less than optimal movement. So Hunter is not out of this race by any means just yet.
Yeah, there are quite a few very minor mistakes that end up costing a lot of time, especially in the late game.
Yeah, towards the end of the late game, it just becomes a gauntlet of boss fights, and so failing the boss fights in large or in small ways can be pretty devastating.
Like, once you reach Metro, that's when the run really ramps up in both how interesting it is to watch and how hard it is to perform in.
But both our runners here coming up onto the Sand Kingdom, and this is notorious for having probably the most reroutes throughout the course of the month plus that this game's been out. So many different sand routes have been discussed and developed and adapted, and so runners now are almost consistently inconsistent with each other on which routes they choose here. So Crono and Hunter almost certainly going to choose slightly different routes for their moons here in the Sand Kingdom.
I wonder where Crono's going to grab the bird. Is he going to grab it after the pipe, before the pipe, or in the savannah?
There are generally 3 places to grab the bird, if you grab the bird at all. Some routes don't do it for...
That's very interesting move from Hunter. Grabbing the power line down below there.
Crono having some problems getting back up onto the buildings here after falling off, but he's going to head onto the pipe. Oh, no, he actually hit the bird and failed to get the moon the first time around. I missed that, so he's going to get the moon from the bird and then head into the pipe. But yeah, so you can either collect the bird before the pipe, after the pipe, or later on towards the end of the level in the Oasis.
Seems like Hunter is going for the later one.
And
also, he might not do it at all if it's both Sphinx and luggage and all the savannah.
Hunter having a little bit of problems there. You have to ground pound the exact top of this dune to activate the moon, so it can be a little tricky to see exactly where the top of that rounded surface is, but Crono says, nah, no problem, gets it first try.
Also, going to be quite hard to pay attention to who's actually ahead now until the end of Sand Kingdom. Oh, unfortunate bonk from
Hunter
Crono as well.
They both take a little tumble there, trying to get up on top of the arch. And Crono's the first to get up on top. Yeah, it's also interesting, talk about route differences in the Sand Kingdom. There is one moon that greatly, has the potential to greatly change your route later on, and that is the Sphinx. Whether or not you go into the Sphinx room and get that moon matters a lot, because in that room are tons of coins, and so you can either get to the Sphinx room and grab a bunch of coins and never worry about it the rest of the run, or you have to pay very, very close attention to what coins you have and don't have throughout the run.
Also, the Sphinx is both the fastest and the slower route, depending if you do one really hard strat, which is a roll clip.
Yeah, it is possible to... Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
It's basically 3 frame-perfect inputs to clip into a wall, and it only works on very certain walls.
Yeah, but that wall with the Sphinx, the loading zone into the room can be clipped into, and you can grab another fast moon right off to the side of that one, so a lot of top level runners are definitely doing that clip into the wall to, shave those precious seconds. But don't know if we're gonna see it in a tournament race like this. It is possible. I have seen it before, but
I've seen 1 or 2 guys do it, but I can't remember who.
I know Tones Ballones did it for sure. He was the one that came up with the most consistent setup we have so far. Which is pretty good, by the way. You should check it out. It's on his Twitter. But so here's Crono heading over to the Sphinx. I don't think he's gonna do the clip. He's just gonna talk to the Sphinx.
He's gonna talk
normally. Yeah, just talk normally and say, "Let me into your room, please." And the Sphinx moves aside for him.
Also, the most optimal way with Sphinx Clip is to actually not go directly into the loading zone, but rather go to the left and grab another moon, staying out of bounds, and then going into the loading zone.
Mm-hmm.
To save having going into a pipe we might see Crono doing right now.
Yeah, and here's Hunter also coming up on the Sphinx, just gonna talk to him normally. But yeah, you saw Crono collecting all those coins in that room, so probably not have to worry about coins for the rest of the run. Here's Hunter.
And sorry, it wasn't a pipe, but sinking into the sand, as we see Crono doing right now.
It does exit through the pipe, though.
Seems like they're both sitting on 5 bonks for the moment. That's quite high already.
Yeah, I mean, me personally, I'm a reset king, and so the amount of times I just practice these first couple of kingdoms means that generally bonks can be avoided because it's just so much practice, but. It's gonna be a high pressure situation in a tournament race like this, and so trying to be a little too nervous or trying to play perfectly can cause you to have some suboptimal movement.
Yeah, those stairs Hunter just passed. I bonked on those twice.
Oh no!
In my 1 race.
So there's Crono using the bullet bill to get on top of the Jaxi ruins, and Hunter's gonna be not too far behind him, grabbing the last 2 moons before leaving the Sand Kingdom. Oh no, Hunter! Oh no.
Wait. What?
I think that was a misclick there. So he does not get the fast Jaxi ruins and does fall to his death. So he's gonna port back to the Sphinx room. Or no, so he hit a checkpoint. Sorry, get back to the checkpoint. Have to do that all over again.
That was quite fortunate because some runners accidentally missed that checkpoint at times.
Yeah, if you don't get that checkpoint, then you come back to the last time you loaded the zone, which would be when he left the Sphinx room. But he does get that checkpoint, so he's pretty close by. Just gonna grab this chest for some more coins, and Crono is done with the Sand Kingdom now. Gonna be moving on to the Lake Kingdom.
Also, if he didn't do Sphinx either, he would have been sent back all the way to the Odyssey.
Yeah, that's true. That would have been a major setback.
Yeah, so Sphinx adds another safety net there, other than just coin route.
It's actually kind of tough to get that Jaxi skip.
That's a very common racing point.
Yeah. Because pretty much if you don't get it, the punishment is, as you saw, a swift and painful death.
Yeah, there's no way to recover from it that I know of. You don't get enough distance from any kind of jump combination after the wall kick or exiting the bullet bill.
No. There's pretty much no salvation other than just try again.
Yeah, because after exiting and capture, you don't have the option to bounce off a cappy afterwards. Which is why you can't recover at all. You only get a minor distance from 1 dive.
Yeah. So here's Crono in the Lake Kingdom. Gonna get a couple of fast moons before heading to a boss fight for a multi-moon. I should note as well that so Crono's gonna. This is the lake level, right? There's swimming in here, but swimming as Mario in this game is pretty slow, feels pretty bad. So Crono's gonna dive down into the water here and grab a cheap. That is the fastest mode of underwater transportation. So gonna try
as for
to.
Lake,
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, as for laking, that's probably one of the least routed out options, just because it's got so few options actually for possible moons.
Yeah, the kingdom doesn't, so after you do all the story moons, the kingdoms generally open up and have a lot more moons available afterwards, but before you open it up, there are only so many moons you can collect, and so routing options can be pretty limited here. That's a good point.
Yeah, that's why Sand Kingdom is so open for routing as well, because it's got so much available from the get-go.
And there's Crono nailing the cheap jump successfully. That's very well done. Very punishing to miss that jump up to the boss fight.
He also gets the first jump on... Oh, I forgot this guy's name right now.
It's
the boss...
Rango.
Yeah, Rango.
Mm-hmm.
Struggled a bit with the second hit, but he got it again.
You can be fast cycle just by jumping on his hat there and jumping up on top. It's a slight punishment if you don't get fast cycle, but he's gonna still maintain a pretty solid lead over Hunter right now. Crono's not sweating too hard.
Yeah, after getting the first hit, you can just do consistently backflips on top of him each time, if you just time it correctly.
Looks like we're
Crono's gonna be heading out of the lakeside with quite a lead for the moment.
Mm-hmm.
But we're closing in on Metro Kingdom, which is one really tough kingdom due to the nighttime section, so anything can still happen.
Mm-hmm, for sure. Here's Hunter up on the boss fight. See if he can't get the fast cycle every time. Oh, he takes some damage.
Aww.
Yeah, there's that trigger finger trying to reset the run. It's a really common problem to have. I can't fault him at all for that.
Yeah, I'm on the same section. That seemed to be a bit of a trigger of a cutscene skip trigger.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
I have a weird habit of mashing way too much. Like, I mash on sections where I can't skip a cutscene. Just out of habit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's actually the button to skip the cutscene is the plus button, which is the same as the pause button if you're not in a cutscene. So, it's not uncommon, I would say, to see runners accidentally pause a little too early.
Also, Crono getting a clean MIPS strike and a clean rock pickup.
Mm-hmm. And
picking up the rocks without dropping Cappy or pulling Cappy away can be quite annoying.
Mm-hmm. It's one of those weird input things, but here, Crono demonstrating the benefit of the Sphinx, getting all those coins so we can spend 100 and get a quick and easy moon here.
Also, with it, aren't really that many variations around. There's one option you can choose between for when to do the fuzzy pipe, which basically doesn't save or lose any time for the most part, like 1 or 2 seconds difference.
Yeah, I think optimally it's like a 2-second difference, which is pretty insignificant in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
So it's another one of those kingdoms that doesn't really have a lot of options until it opens up after doing all the story moons. So they are gonna head up, do a couple story moons here, do another boss fight, get a multi-moon, but for now, Crono just possessing this uproot, the main capture of the Wooded Kingdom, to gain some height and get to breaking the nut, getting another moon. As Hunter captures Mips himself.
Seems like he's going for the warpless route.
Mm-hmm, yeah, doing the flooded pipeway first. This pipeway is a little tough to, it's on a strict cycle from the moment you enter it. And you want to generally get through without taking damage from the fuzzies and getting the water level you need. So, yeah, it's a little tough to get through perfectly.
Also now, Crono's demonstrating the fact that when you take damage, you'll get a cutscene, you'll get the grab moon cutscene extended by 2 seconds for taking damage. So that's why you really want to avoid damage in this game, other than the hit stun that you get stuck with.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Crono there pulling a slick move. So he ground pounded down to avoid automatically floating up into the fuzzies, and then did a quick jump up to match the water level. That was quick thinking. Very nice.
Hunter with a pretty clean nut grab there. Let's see which way he's gonna go.
Crono making quick work of that climb up the wall. Heading towards the red maze. Yeah, so Hunter can do what Crono did and head down to the flooded pipeway, or head straight to the red maze, which is where Crono is
Seems
now.
like he's gonna do it for
Yeah,
just for the
he's-
camera angle.
Just gonna go for the same way. Yep.
Not quite sure what that spot was for.
And it might just be a trigger finger, you know, wanting
Yeah.
to skip all cutscenes possible. Because there is a small, little unskippable phase transition as you get into the loading zone.
Yeah, you can also speed those up by rolling and ground pounding onto the pipes. That will make them speed up slightly.
Mm-hmm. So here's Crono collecting the very first story moon, and head up to the next one shortly after.
Let's see if he's gonna do the roll cancel triple jump. Or the
Ooh,
swag
man.
strat.
Talk about risky strats. So it is possible to, the normal way is to grab that P-switch and wait for the auto-scrolling road to take you to the next platform. But and it looks like he is going to do that. But you also can jump off of the railing with a triple jump and just jump over the gap to this platform without waiting for the flower road. A little risky
That's a-
because you can fall to your death.
That triple jump needs to have momentum from either a long jump or a cancelled roll, or else you won't get distance no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Which makes this really annoying and really precise.
Yeah. And really punishing to mess up. I think that's right up there with the Sphinx clip in terms of, very rewarding if done right, very punishing if you don't get it right.
Yeah, I do attempt that one myself just because I know how to do the roll cancel. But it's
Mhm.
like, if I don't get the roll cancel, I'm just gonna go straight on the P-switch.
Hmm. I've seen a couple other runners do it a different way where they don't try to, so they do a roll cancel or a long jump, whatever, get momentum, but then they don't triple jump off of the railing, but rather triple jump off of the corner up and to the left of the P-switch. Seems a little less risky because you're not trying to nail that small railing platform.
Which way do they have to go then? Because I know having to walk back and long jump makes that triple jump slower
Mm-hmm.
from when I try to time it myself. Or it's equal, which makes it a bad strat because it's way too risky.
Why would you do it?
Like, why do a 10 times harder strat that doesn't save any time?
Just gotta have the swag, man.
Yeah, the race
Oh.
swag.
Crono having a little bit of trouble with this Spewart boss fight. Sitting at 1 HP, has to not take damage here, or else he's gonna give Hunter a chance to catch up. But he does get the quick kill. Very nice.
Crono's been doing well on the bonks now. He's only got one bonk since he left Sand Kingdom.
Mm-hmm. Figured he might have been listening in on us and decided, oh no, I can't live up to what he said. I have to just play perfect now.
I just get you get a few gold splits here and there. Makes it for a nice race, PB.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can see in Hunter Hack's timer, he's a little behind where he ought to have been according to his timer to have exited the Wooded Kingdom on time.
Crono's gone red as well, it seems.
Yeah. Crono coming up right on the end of Wooded though. Hunter still has this boss fight between him and Crono.
A small thing you can also do in that boss fight, there's 2 rocks you can grab for HP. If you have full HP, you will gain coins from the hearts instead of HP.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't do Sphinx, that's a nice coin to pick up as well, because you have time to get 20 extra coins, I think it is. Just from that boss fight.
It's a good chunk of change. Yeah, so on Crono's screen now, you'll see the map showed him going to the Metro Kingdom, but instead he's going to be intercepted in flight by Bowser in the Cloud Kingdom and have to do a boss fight here.
I was really disappointed when I got to that casually, because I was so looking forward to Metro Kingdom.
I know, I was like, oh my god, I can finally do it, and then you have to fight Bowser. Alright, sure, fine.
Yeah, the fight was awesome casually.
Mm-hmm. There are a couple of fast strats to be used in this fight. They're really tough to pull off, especially in this race environment. So, Crono not going for the fast first cycle. Don't think we're gonna see either runner going for the super advanced fast strats here. I'm just gonna be doing the normal the normal fast cycle.
Yeah, they're going to go for simple fast cycles, which
Mhm.
includes not grabbing the cap instantly, but waiting till close to Bowser and cancel his jump to start hitting him immediately and skipping one attack phase.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a
Let's hope
whole.
we don't get to see that.
Yeah, a whole phase of Bowser fight that you don't see in speedruns versus casual.
Also, if you step too close to Bowser doing that, he will grab the hat away from you before you get it.
Yeah, you have to be really careful about where you try and grab the hats and at what angle you throw your cap. Hunter missing the cap platform and falling to his death. Flashing some memes at us again.
The general rule of thumb for how to get a fast strat or cancel his jump is to not go on to where it plateaus. Like, stay on the slope slightly, and it shouldn't.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't get a jump.
If you stand on the flat part of that platform, then you will not get the fast cycle.
And Hunter with the fast phase one.
Here's Crono struggling with the meme tree in the Lost Kingdom.
The meme tree could be such a pain.
Oh, this tree is straight up memeing him. Oh my goodness.
I'm really surprised they managed to make trees worse than Sunshine.
Yeah, it was a feat. They did it. He's gonna try and triple jump off of this tree to get over to that ledge. And he makes it. Alright. Meme tree giveth, the meme tree taketh away.
Also, in Lost Kingdom, the reason we go up that tree is to avoid the Klepto cutscene trigger entirely, and then just go around the stage instead of straight ahead, skipping the entire section of Cappy being stolen away.
Yeah, having Cappy stolen away means you have to platform up to get Cappy without Cappy, so you don't have your free platform in midair. And then you have to do a little mini fight with the Klepto bird here. Now, Crono's gonna grab one more moon off to the side and then go over and activate Klepto here, which in a different way than the cutscene trigger, in that if you physically go up to Klepto, Klepto thinks that he's in a fight with you and he already has Cappy. So the cutscene will
Hunter
not...
getting Klepto stolen.
Yep, so there's Crono triggering the fight sequence, so now that Klepto thinks he has Cappy, can't actually get it stolen.
And sorry for interrupting there.
No, it's okay. Yeah, so Hunter looks like did get Cappy stolen away, and so has to go maneuver up to Klepto and take it back, while Crono's just collecting all the moons he needs to move on.
He seems pretty frustrated, but that image makes it really hard for us to see what's actually going on.
The memes are too strong.
Here's one little route change that you can do. Instead of going into that cage below there, you can actually make that, what's that enemy called? To grab the hat and blow up the cage.
I call them the bomb dudes. Because they grab your hat and then they charge at you and blow themselves up. Oh, here's Crono trying to get the Deathless strat, and he makes it.
Ooh,
Deathless. Back up onto the ledge. It is possible, since we didn't grab any checkpoints here, to let yourself die and take an intentional death and port back to the Odyssey, but Crono, trying to keep his coins, just jumps back up and rolls on over.
Optimally, that Deathless will only save 2 seconds, so it's not something everybody bothers to learn.
Yeah, it's not essential, but can be helpful, especially if you don't do Sphinx and you want to keep as many coins as possible.
Yeah.
So now Hunter, having Cappy back, just going to go about collecting all the moons he needs to move on to the Metro Kingdom.
Also, Crono entering Nighttime Metro now, with one really tough jump going out at the beginning, or 2 of them actually, and then for a really tough platforming section inside the main city hall.
This is another one of those kingdoms where we're not following the intended path, because, you know, why would we do that in a speed run? But here Crono is in the nighttime phase of Metro, where there's actually a story portion that you have to complete. Now, you're meant to go over to the left and fight some tanks and, you know, make your way through some enemies, but Crono's just going to jump on this awning and scale this building with some slick platforming and Cappy throws. And
he gets the jump first try.
Yeah, it's kind of tough to manage there, because those jumps do need some fairly precise input timings.
And he gets a second difficult jump right ahead away as well.
This is the third final hard jump before we get into the City Hall, and he also lands that one. Very nice. Hunter coming up on his last couple of Lost Kingdom moons, and this is the one we talked about where you can manipulate the bomb dude to blow up the cage and jump over there and grab that one. But here's Crono with the Town Hall, which you basically have to climb all the way up to the top without falling to your death as quickly as possible. And these
This
elevators
actually can be quite fast, but can be quite hard. But if you do casual strike, it's quite easy.
Oh yeah, casually this is no problem, but trying to do it quickly is a little tough, especially those elevators that Crono passed. They're on a cycle, and so if you're a little late or a little early, they can actually block you from throwing Cappy where you want to. It's a little tough timing.
Yeah, basically the jumps we do, we just ignore the elevators for the most part and hope they don't crash into us.
Yeah. And then Crono making the long jump all the way across the Town Hall without falling.
That jump is really awkward with how the camera constantly turns and you have no control over it.
Yeah, trying to use the control stick to throw Cappy in one direction means that as the camera's rotating around, you cannot jump in the same direction you're holding the control stick. You have to either, manipulate your control stick around or just keep it neutral and do it the direction Mario's facing. Hunter is seeming to have some problems here in the Lost Kingdom. He's one more moon.
He seems really frustrated right now. And I completely understand him.
Yeah. So Crono now, in between cycles where you can damage the Mecha Wiggler, he's actually going to just run between the buildings here, invulnerable. So we try to manipulate him so that he spends as little time running across the arena as possible. And then he's going to try and kill the Mecha Wiggler here the next time he's targetable. Or else he's going to have to wait through another cycle. So it can be a little tricky to try and two-cycle the Mecha Wiggler, so let's see how he does here. Let's hit all these segments without missing one. So he's just going to try to clean up here. Can he get it? It's a little tight. No, it doesn't quite get it. He has to wait through another cycle. He's going to three-cycle the Mecha Wiggler.
If you get the last sections really split up, like he did, it makes it really difficult to get to the cycle. What I prefer to do to avoid that is to find one spot where the Wiggler is safe and then just tap shoot, not full speed.
Yeah. There are a couple of different strats to try to consistently two-cycle the Mecha Wiggler, but you just never know where he's going to pop out and what direction he's going to run, so you can never predict for sure what's going to happen.
And Hunter now entering nighttime metro as well.
So just as Crono finishes the nighttime part of the metro, Hunter's going to be starting it up. Not too bad of a lead for Crono.
Let's see if Hunter gets the balcony jump first try, as well as the girder jump. Also, I wonder if Crono's going to do the swag strat to get onto the power railing fast after grabbing the moon.
Oh yeah, it's possible to throw out Cappy and hold him in place, and then shake the controller to use motion controls to home him in onto the electrical wire after you've moved Mario to collect a moon here. I hope we see it. It looks very strange the first time you do see it, but here's Crono throwing out the hat, holding Cappy in place, grabbing the moon. He's going to shake the controller to try to home Cappy in on the electrical wire, and Mario just zooms on over to it. There it is.
Also, Hunter took a safer version of the girder jump that Crono did earlier by going on top of the roof instead.
A little unfortunate to... It's a little unfortunate when you're forced to resort to safe strats, but, they're called safe strats for a reason.
That's another interesting strat from Hunter that I haven't really seen used before. It's way safer.
Yeah, for sure. Instead of trying to climb up to, get up on top before the elevator cycle, he just waits for the low elevator cycle and jumps over to that. I haven't seen that before, but it definitely is a lot less risky than trying to ascend ahead of the elevators.
Also, Crono struggled a bit with the RC car, which is really finicky and weird controls to use.
Yeah, it's like a real life RC car where the left stick can only move you forward and back, the right stick can only move you right and left, and so you have to manipulate these two different inputs to try to drive correctly, and it can be a little tough. There are some setups that you can use to do it pretty quickly, but again, just weird controls mean that you can't really get it for sure every single time.
Yeah. Also, Crono did a small roll cancel inside the pipeway there to make him turn 90 degrees out of a roll instantly.
Keeps his momentum that way.
And keeps it from bonking.
Very important. Oh, but there's one bonk on the dumpster. Right as you say that. You cursed him.
Well, that bonk doesn't cost much time, though.
Yeah.
Just because you have to wait for the moon to spawn anyways.
So Hunter running around without a tank. He's going to have to wait for a tank to come back so he can possess it and shoot at the Mecha Wiggler.
Now, Crono's going up into a really awkward climbing section. Especially when you do it fast, because fast way you want to jump off, dive, and throw Cappy, and bounce off a Cappy, and then continue that all the way up.
It's a little tough, especially when you're trying to get back onto that narrow pole, your target. It does click.
Dying to Mecha, that's really rough.
Yeah, forget about 2 or 3 cycling. That's gotta feel pretty bad.
Also, Crono having good luck with the first leap of faith to get the pool moon.
I should note, Metro is by design one of the longest kingdoms in the game. Nintendo wants you to spend a lot of time in there. Their crowning jewel of Mario Odyssey, so they make you collect 20 moons in the kingdom to move on, but we do collect 5 in the nighttime, so it's just a marathon of 15 moons in the daytime, which is more than some other kingdoms just normally.
Yeah. It's just, you constantly hear that moon jingle almost like every 30 seconds. Like, at one point there's like maybe 10 seconds between each moon in just gameplay.
Yeah, it's like, especially in the Lost Kingdom, where it's just such a small, tight-knit map, and you're just constantly moving, platforming between all of them. You just hear it over and over and over and over again, just zipping on through. Hunter just missed the 2 cycle. He's a little tilted, but he's gonna have to wait for the Wiggler to be vulnerable again before he can do anything.
Also, Crono's... that bonk is kind of annoying.
Yeah. Such a small ledge, little corner of the doorway to bonk on.
Hunter showing his frustration by taking it out on the screenshot button, it seems.
But Crono coming up on probably the biggest meme in the community. Get your OTEPs ready, everybody.
OTEP.
We don't have the audio from Crono, but...
Yay.
Yay!
We're gonna make for sound effects ourselves then.
we'll do it by ourselves if we must. That's Crono finishing up the Metro Kingdom. Gonna port back to the Odyssey, and I think he has enough coins. He can just go on to the Snow Kingdom.
And Hunter's finishing up nighttime at the same time. Let's see if he's gonna do Snow or Seaside first, because if you're low on coins, you can do Seaside to grab a 35 to 50 easy coins.
I think I saw...
If you're low.
I think I saw him having 100 though, so he might just mash the A button, hit onto the Snow Kingdom.
Now, I personally just go to Seaside first every single time, because I don't want to mess up with my splits.
Yeah, it's also, if you're not sure if you have enough coins or not, generally going to Seaside will guarantee you that you're good to go. It looks like Crono does select the Snow Kingdom. This Hunter comes up on the daytime Metro trying to collect his remaining 14 moons.
We're also getting close to the one showcase of the 100% viewers' favorite meme. Track 76, or Captain Toad.
Yeah, so again, most kingdoms have limited routing options before you do the story to unlock all of it, but here in this blizzard in the Snow Kingdom, there is actually one moon that you can get before going into the town of Shiveria, and that is Captain Toad. He is available right here, right now.
I've heard that jingle so much I can hear it in my head automatically.
Right, I don't have the game audio right now, but I can playing clear as day.
I've watched way too much 100% coin grinding.
Oh man. Yeah, so Crono does have enough coins as I thought, so he's gonna be good to go for that shot moon and not gonna have to worry about coins for the rest of the run.
Hunter with the roll cancel as well. Also, chat, what's your favorite? Captain Toad or everything else?
If Captain Toad is not your favorite thing about the Snow Kingdom, then what is it? Oh, Hunter just
Boosting his bonk counter?
yeah, he needs to meet the bonk counter. I've lost count now. Oh,
I lost count a long time ago.
yeah.
I'm just relying on chat to keep track of it for me.
Chad will probably know. Yeah, so there's
Okay, that
Crono.
was 5 bonks, it seems.
Hmm.
Just giving him a slight concussion to help the run.
I don't know if it helps if you're concussed, but I guess we'll see.
Maybe just goes full god mode and just goldsmiths every single thing afterwards
Oh
now.
my god.
Going for the fast climb though.
And he gets it without falling. Very, very slick.
It's quite easy to get a bad angle and control so you can throw a Cappy off of the pole and then just dive right off.
Oh yeah, I know from experience.
And he gets to leap of faith first try as well. Ooh, blind ground pound, and it misses.
Didn't quite get it. He has to readjust. Yeah, so Crono is doing one of the 4 available side rooms to you in Shiveria. We only go into 3 of them, and we get 2 of the story moons in them. So he's gonna blow off these spinies here, get his first story moon into 3 rooms.
Seems like they're both sitting on 11 bonks each.
Dang.
Quite close on the bonk counters.
Hunter's trying to inflate his number though. This is some boosted strats. Boosting strats.
Crono entering the second sideway room as well. Rolling in those corridors can be quite awkward and very easy to bonk on.
Oh, ooh, my god.
Ooh, that roll cancel seemed
Roll
accidental.
Out of control and manages to save himself from falling off. That was anxiety inducing.
There's some awkward Goomba jumping as well.
Goombas are actually beneficial in this room though because the floor is subject to ice physics, but the Goombas do not slip on the ice, so they just walk normally. And then you can use the Goombas to trigger that moon, and now you do have to deal with the ice as you jump over to collect the second moon in the room.
Looks like we're coming up for a second round of OTEP now though.
And this time you can actually hear the OTEP. So again, chat, get ready for the OTEP.
Yeah, we didn't have to provide sound effects this time. We'll let the game speak for itself.
Yay!
Yay!
So that's Hunter finishing up the Metro Kingdom, and Crono's about to come out on the last room of the Snow Kingdom.
Hunter giving Mario a little chance to groove before he moves on.
Hey, I respect it. I respect it.
Mario's gotta get a break sometimes, constantly running for an hour straight, poor guy. Hunter showing his frustration with splits.
I know the feel. Yeah, can be, again, high pressure situation in these races, and then when things start going wrong, you don't have the opportunity to reset. You know, it can be a little frustrating to have to deal with.
Yeah, also Crono with the one accidental bonk there, that's quite easy to do. But luckily it didn't fall down.
Yeah.
There also looks like there is a bottomless pit below there, but that actually just leads to some purple coins, so even if you fell down there, it would have been fine.
Yeah.
Only a slight time loss.
And there's Crono going up onto the Seaside Kingdom, just leaving snow as Hunter enters snow. So a good kingdom separating these runners right now.
So Crono is currently in the lead for most bonks.
He's in the lead in the race and for most bonks. What a hero.
Gotta win on both ends.
No slacking. Oh, here's Captain Toad. There's the music. Ah, perfect.
Ah, my tiny dose. Toad. Always a pleasure.
Thanks for doing your duty, Captain Toad. We salute you. Yeah, nice platforming there by Crono. Getting up to that moon on the cliffside can be a little tough. It's another one of those jumps that input has to be fairly precise for, or you're gonna face a bonk.
Then one of those rumbling sand rooms. We didn't really count it earlier, but those hidden moons in the sand, there are cues for finding them, and that's in the rumbling of the controller. The closer you are, the more it will rumble.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think, is that it never changes in those rooms. It's always in the same location. So if you've ever found those moons one time, you know where it is. I think it would have been more interesting if the game, you still found them by rumble, but they were in a random location on the ground. But
that would make it really annoying for the speedrun.
For speedrunning, that'd be horrible, but I think that would have been a more interesting thing for it to do, but that's me personally.
Yeah. Then again, there's only 2 of those rooms, and I don't think Nintendo intends you to play through the game twice, considering how many moons there are.
Yeah, 880 moons, you can just, grab through one playthrough. I don't know if there are many people that want to do that many other times other than crazy 100% speedrunners. And they are crazy. If they ever tell you otherwise, they're wrong. Oh, Crono turns around and throws his cat to get the last musical note. That was pretty tight.
That was good reaction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good recovery.
It's kind of hard to align the camera properly without actually stopping up for grabbing those notes.
Mm. Yeah, going that note line, no setup can be a little tough sometimes.
Seems like Hunter's going through the gusty room just fine. As long as the spine doesn't mess him up now.
Question in chat, how long does it take to get 999 moons? The fastest currently 100% run is just under 13 hours. So I think that's the number you're looking for.
Crono accidentally swimming up and bonking into the roof.
Yeah, the fish bonks, the underwater bonks can be a little tough.
And this swimming in the wrong direction.
Mm-hmm.
I guess he got disoriented with the camera changes.
Yeah, got a little turned around, but it's alright, he's on the right route now.
Yes, I would say fish bonks count as a bonk.
Yeah, that's definitely a bonk. It's underwater bonk.
They really kind though. They only cost like half a second.
Mm-hmm.
They're not that bad.
Oh, Hunter upping his bonk count there.
More concussion for Mario. Let's see how the Goomba stack goes.
Mm-hmm.
Goes to the risky jump there. Also activates the icicle before grabbing the last Goomba, making it fall earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Slightly faster cycle.
Here's Crono coming up on the end of the Seaside Kingdom. He's going to be moving on to the Luncheon Kingdom.
Hunter not going for the riskier long jump to save a little bit of time. Going for the safer route now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it can be a little tricky again. That ice sliding you where you don't want to go. You have the wrong direction for your momentum, so sometimes you just have to adjust and compensate. And here's Hunter coming up on the last room in the Snow Kingdom before he moves on to Seaside.
Luncheon's one of those that does have one kind of difficult jump right at the start, early salt pile, but it also can be substituted quite easily with the Scarecrow on right behind the Odyssey instead, if you're struggling with it yourself.
Mm-hmm. It is significantly slower if you don't fail this jump too many times, but looks like Crono is gonna get it first try. Nice.
Just barely.
1 pixel is all you need.
And Hunter showing off that bottomless pit with the purple coins. Or the not so bottommost pit.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So Crono's gonna come up on the the refight with the Spearward boss, which is kind of interesting in that most boss fights in this game, you know, you can refight the bosses later on in the game, and they'll have an additional phase, or they'll, you know, be a little harder to deal with. But this is just a straight up identical boss fight to when you fight him in the Wooded Kingdom. So if you have him in the Wooded Kingdom, you've got him here, and I think he's probably the easiest boss in the game as well.
Yeah, both for speed strats and normal strats in general.
Yeah, it's kind of a pretty straightforward, easy boss. Here's Hunter coming up onto the Seaside Kingdom.
As for Seaside, the route is pretty set in stone there. There aren't really a lot of variations the runners to do either, unless they do the outdated route.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there is an outdated route in which you mostly collect moons on this cliff here. You try to avoid going to the water as much as possible. In fact, you know, so there are two captures in here. There was the Cheap from earlier, and then a Gushin. And we used to use the Gushin to get up super high on the wall and collect most of the moons. But I think it was I Ate Your Pie that suggested the route change to be collecting most of the moons underwater.
Also, Hunter giving him a Goomba hug to make him feel better, I guess.
Does the triple jump up onto the cliff. Nice platforming.
After some miners struggling with it.
Yep, some more slick platforming from Crono. Getting up onto this cliffside to grab a moon. He's be heading over to nearby the shop.
The Hunter getting a Squidless Cave, no problem.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Crono doing a trick. He throws his cap and he uses motion controls to angle it downwards from there so it can break a crate and reveal a moon.
Also, one thing we haven't shed light on is most of the rolling in this run is done via motion controls by shaking the controller. Which is kind of annoying that Nintendo decided to make that the faster way, but oh well, we'll live with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so there's Hunter possessing the Gushin to stroll on over to the cheap underwater and collect the rest of his moons in the Seaside Kingdom.
Now we can see a route deviation for Crono, or the potential one, because you can either do the Podobo room or the fork flicking. The fork flicking has the easiest beginner strats and the fastest difficult strat, but Podobo is like the middle ground.
Mm-hmm. He does go to the forks room. See if he does the full range of motion controls here with the up throws and whatnot. So I'm not seeing them just yet. Yeah, it looks like he's going to do the standard, not insanely hard strat here.
Yeah, messing up with the motion controls there can be really punishing.
Yeah, I mean, I find that the motion controls are very imprecise to try and do well, and messing it up is just... Oh no, Crono misses the hat throw and falls to his death, so he's going to have to start that over again. He does get the moon off to the side, so he doesn't have to go get the one off route, but he just has to climb up to the top now.
And Hunter about to finish up for Seaside with a pretty normal route other than the Goomba hug.
Mm-hmm. And there's the final moon for the Seaside Kingdom for Hunter, so he's going to be moving on to Luncheon himself.
That's also why the fork room has also the most punishing depth, because it takes quite a while to climb to the top again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but so he leaves the forks room and is going to possess this Podoboo and climb up over to the cliff there.
So Crono's overall gone with the safest and easiest strat.
Mm-hmm.
Also killing that Goomba that tends to mess you up trying to get up that cliff.
Yeah, that is one of two very, very well-placed Goombas by Nintendo that just try to screw you up in the most consistent way possible.
It seems like Crono forgot to dive there. Accident.
All right, so here he's possessing. This is not a hammer, bro. This is a frying pan, bro. He's gonna try to
Or pan, bro.
and trying to break these cheese blocks to reveal the switch to activate the next story moon. And there it is.
Which can be quite awkward to do fast because of it's actually random which direction it throws it. It throws it in a cone shape instead of just straight ahead.
Yeah, so it can take a while to get the RNG to just. Can you throw it straight ahead of me, please? Thank you for that pan, bro. There, it can be really frustrating to deal with. And here's Hunter. He looks like he got up on top of the salt pile as well. He's gonna head over to the Spewart boss fight.
Taking an unfortunate hit on that tomato.
And the runners are actually in the same kingdom again now. It's like Hunter is making up more ground than he thought he might.
Also, Crono missing the slight fast grab on the Podobo and then accidentally killing it too early.
Ooh, yeah.
Instead of lighting the torch.
Just to go grab another Podoboo and try to light the torch again.
Hunter showing us those reset reflexes again.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not quite sure what he's doing right now, and the lack of music makes this eerily quiet.
Mm-hmm. Just has to get back on top and activate the boss fight. So Crono is gonna head up to collect his final moons in the Luncheon Kingdom here. This is actually kind of funny. This is a multi-moon that you activate by possessing and becoming a piece of meat, quite literally. So you'll see Crono become a slab of meat and jump up and down here in a second, as Hunter Hack moves through the Stewart boss fight.
This is also one of those triple moons that doesn't take too much time, that I doubt will get routed out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but so there's Crono getting his last moons in the Luncheon Kingdom. Gonna put those into the Odyssey and then move on to the final stages of the game.
Hunter enjoying the lack of music for a little bit, just listening to the silence. Now Crono finishing up Luncheon.
Mm-hmm.
But not the... well, never mind, there was one major mistake, but also it seemed pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Not too many disaster scenarios that occurred.
Also, Crono's split doesn't seem to be ready for very long, so he's on quite good pace.
Mm-hmm.
It can be quite hard to actually keep up a good pace in a no-reset race.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, Hunter hitting a bonk, and he's going to fall into the lava and take some damage. Looks like he's going to hit a death as well. It's really unfortunate.
Just barely not making it.
Mm-hmm. So here's Crono coming up on the one kingdom that is seems a little out of place. This is a kingdom purely for a boss fight, just like the Cloud Kingdom. But it looks straight out of Dark Souls. This is the Ruined Kingdom where you get to fight against the Lord of Lightning himself, which is a boss that looks like, again, comes out of either a Dark Souls or like a Skyrim type of game. There he is. There's the big old dragon.
Definitely doesn't fit in with the Mario franchise, but it was a pleasant addition to the game.
Mm-hmm. A little unfortunate in the speedrun though, because it kind of is an auto-scroller. Not too many ways to make this go any faster than the regular pace of the fight.
Those cans Hunter just kicked were really loud. Gave me a minor heart attack. Yeah, just going from the bright and colorful Luncheon Kingdom straight into Dark Souls.
Yeah, you can really see the contrast.
Like, if I never knew about Odyssey, I would guess they were on the complete opposite sides of the game.
Yeah, for sure. These two visuals are just about as far from each other as you can imagine.
Yeah, also there's not many as Tomato comments in chat. There aren't too many ways to speed up the fight, but you can like damage use on top of him. slightly.
Yeah, if you take damage as you're trying to jump up on top, you can make the fight last longer, but there is only one fastest way of doing this, and that's getting up on top of him as soon as he's vulnerable. You can abuse iframes and get up, take the hit before he's vulnerable, and so be ready to take the swords out when he becomes vulnerable. But it's half a second save or something like that. So not many ways of speeding up this fight. It's pretty much an auto scroller.
Also, that jump Hunter just did, landing on those pillars will make the Podoba disappear, so that can be quite risky jump if you mess it up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but now Crono is done with the Ruined Kingdom. He's gonna put those moons into the Odyssey and progress on to Bowser's Kingdom, which is a long gauntlet of platforming and boss fights.
Yeah, the Bowser Kingdom is probably the most difficult split overall. Just because of the boss rush at the end with pretty solid platforming.
Mm-hmm.
Hunter stopping his timer?
That's interesting. Check on SRL.
Not quite sure what's going on with that. It might have just been accidental.
That's what I would imagine as well.
Well, we do have SRL timing as well, so I guess we're just gonna have to ask the admins for the time afterwards once he finishes.
Yeah, I'm looking at the race right now, so I can see the SRL time. We can just see based on Crono's time where they are in the race right now, and then look at SRL afterwards. But yeah, so again, in Bowser's Kingdom, unlike most of the other kingdoms where we try to avoid the story moons if we can, the paths to progression in Bowser's Kingdom are the electrical wires here, and you need to do the story moons to activate them. That was a slick move by Crono, by the way.
Also, Hunter showing off the Podoba room.
Mm-hmm, yeah. So you do need to collect all the story moons in Bowser's Kingdom, and then you also need 2 additional moons to move on from Bowser's Kingdom. So there's Crono grabbing his first non-story moon. What he did was he threw his cap near a Pokio, the bird enemy, jumped down to grab a moon, and then shook his controller to home in and capture the Pokio. It's just warped back up the wall. That was very slick. And then there's the first story moon in Bowser's Kingdom. Hunter took a dash.
Unfortunately missing that jump. Podoba room can be quite difficult to do fast, because you have to do motion control shaking to do the fast jumps.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I get he looks like he just missed the pathway again.
Yeah, so the Podoba room is difficult, or more difficult than the Forks room compared to the easy fork strats, but it's easier than the hard fork strats.
Mm-hmm.
At least in my personal opinion.
Yeah, I think it changed. The rooms differ, which is better based on the level of strat you're going for sure. At the easiest or lowest level strats, Forks is better, and I say at intermediate, I think that Lava Bubble is better, and at the highest level, the tippy top of the ladder, I think Forks is, again, slightly better. So there's
that
Crono.
is also due to some of the faster optional movement with the Podoba out from the fork room up until the cliff.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can do some really precise Podoba jumps to not have to go all the way around.
Yeah, for sure. Yep, so Crono finishing up another one of those story moons, open up the gate, activating the electrical wire in Bowser's Kingdom.
Preparing straight for the boss rush now.
Mm-hmm. Now again, to reiterate, he did collect 1 moon off path, a non-story moon. This is going to be his second non-story moon. And after he completes the boss fights in Bowser's Kingdom, that means he will have enough moons to move on. He's a little bit of a bonk there, but undeterred, moves on. And here's Hunter finishing up the Luncheon Kingdom. Good move on to the Ruined Kingdom for the boss fight with the dragon himself.
Also here, you will be fighting 2 Brutes here. It's completely optional which one you're doing first. Whether you do Topper or Harriet.
It's purely runner's preference, and not anyone's faster than the other. You have to do both of these fights. But Crono going for Harriet first, throws the bomb back at her, jumps on top. And you can cancel this next phase by hitting the bomb that she drops to knock her out and get it back on land.
Also, Hunter seemed to have missed a moon along the way, so he had to grab that scarecrow. That's right behind Odyssey. That's a nice backup moon if you miss something.
Yeah. Good awareness of his space.
Oh, Crono taking an accidental hit. If he feels like he's too low on HP, he can also grab the checkpoint flag afterwards, because I don't think he grabbed it on the way.
He did not. He moved over to the left, so took a little longer in that fight, took some damage, but he can grab the checkpoint for the first time, which heals him back up before he goes into the topper fight.
And also saves him from that cutscene extension.
Yep, and he does get the checkpoint for the health.
Because Topper, if you mess up his fast rest, you're guaranteed to take damage almost.
Yeah. Because he has so many more hats here, it's harder to cancel the cycle, but Crono does it. He cancels that one phase, gets the fast cycle off. He just jump on him here, and he can do it again.
Oh,
and he just misses it. It's really harder in this fight because of all the hats here to get it consistently.
Yeah, it was a really good decision to grab that checkpoint flag.
Yeah. He needs to avoid damage here. Ooh, and he does.
And he gets it.
Yeah, a little bit of a monk-ass situation there for Crono, but he pulls it out.
That's an interesting name that popped up in chat. Cancel.
Cancel the cycle. Yes, that is the goal.
That's a very interesting message. It's just writing the cycle. What do you mean by that?
I think
also, Hunter going into the auto-scroller fight now.
So Crono's going to be looking to make his final climb up the side of the kingdom and get to the last boss fight of Bowser's Kingdom, but not before hitting a bonk first, upping the counter.
Yeah, now we're gonna see some of the actual Pokio movement with all the motion control jumps up there, which looks more impressive than it actually is.
Yeah. So normally the Pokios, the little birds, are supposed to control similarly to the forks in the Luncheon Kingdom, where you tilt them down and then you release it to kind of fling yourself upwards. And that's the quote-unquote normal way of controlling the Pokio bird. But you can actually use motion controls to shake while its beak is in the wall to spin up and gain a huge amount of height, like Crono just did, and he's going to be doing on this wall here.
You can also spin once while you're just floating in the air to get a slight jump boost as well.
And
it seems like Crono's hit 20 bonks according to chat.
Oh no. That wasn't supposed to be a prediction come true. Yeah, over the course of the run, 20 bonks can really hurt your time, especially, so obviously you can't do anything for the duration of the bonk, but if you hit a cliff and you fall, you also can't do anything during the fall, so it kind of hurts you.
My rule of thumb is around 2 seconds loss per bonk. That is 40 seconds time loss.
So Crono going for the birdless strat, you're supposed to grab the Pokios and shoot the bombs back at the Mecha Brutal to knock it over, climb up, but Crono trying to get up without the bird, and he does it. Now the goal is to stay on top if he possibly can in between the phases here. Can he make it on top? Oh, just does. Very nice.
Like, as the game knocks you back twice, the game really doesn't want you to stay on top of it. At all. So now it's going to be knocked back again and gain slightly more height than last time. And it hits the airs.
That's the hardest one to... Oh, he makes it.
I couldn't tell how he actually made it on top.
I actually lost track of Mario myself, but he managed just to stay on top. That jump right there is the hardest one to make in the whole fight because the Mecha Brutal becomes invincible. Oh, he misses it that time. Becomes invincible and starts running at you, and so the ears on the very face of the Mecha Brutal can stop you from getting back on top. Now Crono has to wait for a bird, for a Pokio to possess and climb up the leg of this guy as the Hunter hack just begins Bowser Kingdom himself. Can Crono make it? yeah.
And he makes it.
He makes it. He's gonna wait for the Mecha Brutal to stop moving. Try to land the ground pound here. Oh, gets knocked off, but it's okay. He can get back on. Yep.
Getting a ground pound there can be really awkward when it's constantly moving like this.
Mm-hmm.
And he misses it again.
Oh, he's knocked off again, so he has to wait for another Pokio.
This boss fight is it's probably the hardest single thing in the entire run.
Yeah, if there is a run killer in Super Mario Odyssey, this is it. This is where it can all go wrong. Ooh, no. Crono on 1 HP. He has to not take damage here, or else to do the whole fight all over again.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to go for the health.
You can break these rocks and get some hearts, but... Well, pretty spicy looking for Crono, as Hunter Hack grabs his first story moon.
Is that Poker gonna get killed? Maybe not. Is it still alive?
Oh, it's
I
behind...
can't tell.
Yeah, it's still
It's
there.
still
It's
alive.
behind it's on the other side of the Mecha Brutal. Might just be waiting for another one. Yeah. So it spawns closer to the leg, so you don't have to bring it over.
Crono just opting to kill that Brutal right now.
There's only one more that he needs to get back on and kill.
That's
Be
one
done
really
with the
awkward
fight.
camera angle to make it back up with.
Oh no, and he falls again.
Oh. This fight is so punishing to mess up the fast strats for. Like messing it up once on the wrong phase can cost you 1.5 minutes almost.
Yeah. Definitely one of the more punishing boss fights to get wrong. But now that Mecha Brutal's stationary, gets the final hit, and can be done with this boss fight.
Also, Hunter collecting moon shards for the story mission and is closing in on the boss rush himself. So now we're gonna have Crono entering the moon for the final section of the game.
Yeah, and the Moon Kingdom, the actual physical moon itself, doesn't have any moon items for you to collect, so the goal is just to get to the end of the stage, fight Bowser, and do the escape sequence. That's all that Crono has ahead of him now. Hunter Hack still has the two brutal boss fights and then the Mecha Brutal fight ahead of him. Good chunk of change of time.
Yeah, so now Crono's gonna have to do Moon Cave skip, or he can if he wants to, at least. Instead of going through a, 5-minute long cave with lots of hard platforming and captures.
And there's Hunter grabbing his second non-story moon. He also will have enough moons to progress just as soon as he finishes up the story in Bowser's Kingdom.
Okay, let's see which brutal Hunter is gonna choose first. Looks like he's going for Topper. Yeah. You can usually tell by the slight angle change they make on the rolling.
Yeah. Takes a little bit of damage early on in the fight. See if he can cancel this. Nope, he does not get it.
He missed it, but on that first cycle, Topper will always go to the bottom right.
So you can...
So even if you miss that first one, it's quite forgiving. But the second one is not so much if you miss the first one, because then you can't tell at all which one he is.
Yeah.
He seems to have really bad luck ending up on the last hat as well.
Yeah, a little bit of an unfortunate Topper fight. He hangs on, though.
Also, you have to hit the Topper hat twice, which makes it really... Even if you hit it once, like the other hats, you're gonna have to hit it again and notice that they actually hit the right one. Which makes it even harder to actually find it.
Yeah, it's one of the hardest fights in the game to do consistently. I'd say the Topper refight and the Mecha Brutal fight are just the hardest to be really consistent on.
Yeah. Also, Crono's gonna do the Moon Cave skip. That abuses the Moon Cave, or no, the Moon physics. By all the high jumps and one well-placed Sphinx.
Yeah. So he's supposed to go over to this cave on the left, but he's gonna avoid that and say, "Hey, I have moon gravity." And there's also as you said, a Sphinx behind here, used as a starting platform to abuse moon physics and grab some wall jumps here. So he's gonna jump off the hat, wall jump, and then get another. Oh, he actually messed up his inputs there, so he's got to try it again.
Yeah, that jump is really precise because on the first jump you need to get enough height And also, it might be hard to tell on the stream, there's kind of an L shape on the wall. You want to land directly on it. If you don't land on it, you will not get the correct angles for it to work.
Yeah, it's very precise where you jump from the first wall in order to get the wall jump off of the second. So it can be a little tough to get the setup correct and execute well. But if you do get it, I think Crono has it this time. He's gonna get the wall. He decides he doesn't have it. He's gonna try again. If you do get it, then you can wall jump off of the wall to the left and then just jump all the way up to the top.
Yeah, usually the game doesn't want you to jump off of 2 or 90-degree walls like that, which is why it's so inconsistent.
Yeah, moon gravity is the only way that up there Crono goes, getting the wall jump there. I think it has to do with the moon gravity is why it works. We're not 100% sure, but you can manipulate it to get that second wall kick there and just skip the entire cave sequence and head up to the chapel and start the boss fight with Bowser. Here's Hunter tweeting during his run. It wouldn't be a race without a tweet, you know?
One thing in the right, though. Also, Crono going into the second Bowser fight, which does have most of the fast cycle options except like the first one, because Bowser throws the hat so early.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is just like the fight in the Cloud Kingdom, except there is one additional phase that Bowser goes through, which you can't do anything about. It's an auto-scrolling phase. You can't hurt him. You just have to wait and not get hit by his fire.
Also, that fire is really lenient because you basically just have to be above the ground. The hitbox doesn't follow the entire flame, it seems.
It's a really wonky hitbox, but Crono not getting troubled by it.
Yeah, that's a wonky hitbox in a good way because it's so forgiving.
Mm-hmm. Crono a little far away. Does not get the phase skip, so Bowser's gonna jump all over the place, and Crono has to chase him down.
Yeah, that is the attack phase we do skip in Cloud Kingdom as well.
Mm-hmm.
Hunter showing off one Pokio point. I didn't know you actually could.
I never knew you could fling yourself off of the box like that.
You learn a new thing with this game every single day.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same with Breath of the Wild. The game has been out for so long, yet people are still discovering new stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that backup strat really helped him out because he didn't quite get the jump up the wall, so just using the Pokio instead, no problems. And Crono, I think he was going for he was going for the damage boost strat there, but didn't quite get it off. It's really, really tough to land on the third phase.
Like, Crono might be way more nervous than right now if he's not actually watching the stream.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's always a tough mental thing to go through a race like this in a high pressure situation, but
yeah,
Crono finishes off the boss fight and he's going to be going to the escape sequence. He's got nothing to worry about.
I'm not sure what Crono tried to do with menuing there.
Might have just been trying, again, skipping cutscene too early.
Yeah, at least the game doesn't let him reset here.
Yeah, you are not allowed to stop this run. You must finish.
So Hunter doing like the casual way for the first hit, it seems, by knocking down the legs and then climbing up and hitting him with the Pokio. So he's gonna go for the slightly easier Mecha Brutal by not doing Wordless. Will he get it though?
Nice, lands on top.
Sitting on a Pokio like that basically gives you a free get up for the second attack. And he gets the second Brutal. Also, Crono entering 2D section right now. A really unforgiving place to mess up in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a death in any part of this escape sequence means you start over from the very beginning of it, right from when you take over Bowser.
Crono going for a safe threat as well in 2D.
Mm-hmm. Smart man.
Yeah, don't put that 3-second time save that costs 50 seconds to mess up. Just no thank you. Hunter looks like he's gonna make it back up. Oh, barely doesn't make it. Also, bring out your sour please for Crono. Entering the final part of Escape.
We don't have the audio from Crono, but from Hunter Hack. But I know what you know what it sounds like. Just finishing up, has to defeat these 4 pillars and then move to the middle and close out the run here. as Hunter Hack finishes the Mecha Brutal.
Also, Crono abusing the fireballs that you can do by shaking the controller. Once again, motion controls.
Motion controls, am I right? Haha.
Yeah, you get kind of tired of those.
Yeah, tons of optional motion controls, but they make the game faster, so we use them in speedruns.
Optional for normal people, not so optional for us.
Yeah, a little unfortunate. But here's Crono gonna be coming up on a 120 finish here.
And Crono's about to hit the end of his run now. Let's see what his final time's gonna be.
And it is
1:20:23.
Mm-hmm. The official SRL time is a 1:20:24. So, yep, there's that run. Hunter Hack finishing up the Bowser Kingdom as well. Going to be coming up on the moon himself.
Let's see if we can get Crono in for an interview.
Mm-hmm.
I'll ask him in chat.
Okay.
Sorry for the keyboard typing.
Mechanical keyboards are the only way to go, my man.
Yeah.
Hello?
Hi. How's it going,
Hi.
Crono?
I'm alright.
How you feeling after that run?
It wasn't that good, but it was okay. It's passable.
Yeah, it looks like the Mecha Brutal gave you was not gentle with you today.
Definitely not, and I could have saved a lot of time there.
Yeah, but I mean, it seemed that you were only hit. We were trying to look at your timer. It looked like you were only hitting red for about 5 seconds or so at the end of every split. You were pretty much on pace for a PB almost throughout the entire run.
Until Bowser, I was okay. Yeah.
Bowser Kingdom taketh away.
Yep, pretty much. I could have saved a lot of time in Bowser, and I didn't.
But yeah, I mean, otherwise, I thought that was a pretty good showing. I was really impressed.
Alright, yeah. Oh, yeah. It was like it was in a below average, and then it turned okay, and then it turned really bad at the end.
Yeah.
By average, do you mean you were comparing against your average segments instead of PB?
Oh no, I was comparing against my PB.
Okay. I know personally I like to compare against average just to make it less daunting on the mind during the run.
Yeah, but I know I can improve a lot, so I'm definitely normally aiming just for my PB.
Yeah, I mean, again, that the Bowser Kingdom boss fight gauntlet is just so easy to not get perfect, and therefore it'll be just worse than your PB.
Yeah, I saved it for a little bit, and then I fell off again. I'm like, oh crap.
Yeah. No, I know that feel. I mean, hey, what you got to look forward to is that if you could just do as well as you did today up until even luncheon, and just not mess up the Mecha Brutal fight, you got a pretty free PB coming your way, I'd say.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
Yeah. Overall, GG, man. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, congrats on the run and congrats on the win.
Alright, thank you.
Do you know when your next match will be?
No, I'm trying to schedule that soon.
All right. Well, best of luck, man. GG.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, good luck on your next runs.
Yep. So here's Hunter coming up on the boss fight.
Also, Hunter showed off some interesting moon cave skip strats that I've never seen before, doing
Yeah,
multiple wall jumps.
Yeah, I've never actually seen that done before, but it seemed like something that he was accustomed to, so I wonder if that's just...
A safer alternative, I guess?
Yeah.
Struggling a bit with the fast strat as well.
Chad is right, we forgot to ask about the bonks, but it was...
Yeah.
we were negligent.
Sorry, chat.
Oh, Hunter.
Hunter's switching the image.
Yep. Again, missing the fast cycle on Bowser. Gonna have to just run all the way over there. On 1 HP though, so I hope he doesn't take damage. Might have to start over again. Avoids the tail swipes. There's one more cycle to go through.
Also, sadly, it seems we don't have time to actually interview Hunter after a run, so we're gonna have to move on up until the next run's coming up, as we're going a little bit ahead of schedule.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it can be a little tight to maintain a speed gaming schedule here, but hey, I know we're on a speed gaming channel here, but shout out to Speed Gaming for setting up all these super awesome races and community events. This is super exciting to watch and try to juggle keeping track of all these competitions. So hey,
Also remember to go check out the runners' individual streams and give them some love there as well, because they deserve it for putting up a show for us.
And put both the runners and us very, very nice commentators in chat, so you guys can give us some follows. Spread the love, and don't forget to follow Speed Gaming 3 and Speed Gaming 2, Speed Gaming 4, all the speed gaming channels for all your speed gaming needs. And here's Hunter Hack coming up on the final escape sequence.
So this time we'll actually get to hear the audio for the final section.
Yes, we can actually do the Sour Pliz section here. I can hear.
So let's see if he goes for the 2D shortcut.
It'll be super, super risky. Doesn't really have much to lose at this point, other than you know, just the 50-second change. And decides not to go for it. Just gonna
Goes for the safe strats.
close out the level safely as possible.
So ready your sour, please, guys. We're getting really close to it. Also, Hunter as well, speeding up the wall breaking by using fireballs all the way up until it.
Yeah, using motion controls to activate the fireballs as you... What a lot of runners do is they'll shoot fireballs off to the right here and then actually path over to the left to start breaking the left pillar. It looks like Hunter is just going to commit to going over right here and swiping it down the rest of the way. Each of these
after
pillars,
having some unfortunate fireballs.
yeah, each of these pillars has 5 hit points, and both your claws and fireballs do the same amount of damage. You just need to hit it 5 times with something, you know, 3 fireballs, 2 swipes, whatever works. Here's the Sour Pliz. The true Animu ending.
Seems to be quite unfortunate taking so much damage, but I don't think it really costs any time here.
It might cost like a second for that animation to play, but
Yeah.
not a big deal.
So I'm guessing you have his final time open, or have live SRL open.
Yep, so the official final SRL time for the Hunter Hack is 1 hour, 28 minutes, and 26 seconds. And that'll close out our run. Again, we unfortunately don't have time for an interview. We gotta throw it over to the next race coming up on Speed Gaming 3, which is a Mega Man X race. So if you're interested, don't go anywhere.
Yeah, we're gonna have to wrap up quickly now, so thank you for staying and have a good night.